the time that I almost got sex trafficked. Like, this is crazy.
Realist Beats.
Hey Ginas, and welcome back to All Things Blue. Story time. Today we're gonna do a little something different. I have a story time for you. I'm just like, gotta tell my Ginas. Like I told you, my channel is gonna be a little bit of everything. So I was 18 years old. I was like, I'm leaving home because my dad is trifling. He wasn't even trifling. I just wanted to be grown. That's what had happened. But everybody goes through that stage. So I'm like, I'm running away. I'm leaving. I packed my bag and everything. God was really, like, looking back now, God was really trying to get me. So now I'm like, all right, I'm leaving. I don't care. I don't need anything from anybody. I walk to the train with my bag. My duffel bag is so heavy. I could barely carry it. I have to keep stopping and stuff, right? So I'm like, all right, fine. I'll walk into the train. Finally get off the train. Then I had to walk all the way up Fordham. And Fordham is trifling. So I had to walk all the way up for them with this big ass bag that I could barely even carry. Like, I was hurting. I'm like, nah, but I'm leaving. I had a friend that I was gonna go stay with in Brooklyn. At the time, I dealt with girls only. I was actually with girls for about like my whole teenage years. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I was actually with girls before I had even lost my virginity. And I think I lost my virginity in the 10th grade when I was 16. And I was with girls from when I was like 14. And so, whatever. So, even though I had lost my virginity, whatever, in the 10th grade, I still was with girls. It's not that I didn't like men or anything like that. My preference was girls. To this day, I still like girls, even though I have got a bigger interest into men now in my adult years. And yeah, but I still love females. I still will be with a female. So whatever. Let's not get off topic. So, but like, she was in a she was like, yeah, you could come stay with me. Don't worry about it. Like, of course, blah blah. So, you know me. I'm like, fucking, like, I'm gonna go stay with my friend. Like, I'm not thinking of anything. So I go. I stay with my friend. Oh no. So I go. I have to take a few trains to get to her and all this other stuff. So I get to her. I never been so embarrassed / enraged in my life because finally she like meets me at the train station. I'm literally so mad because the first thing she does is pick up the bag, but it's the way she picks up my bag that literally had me ready to throw myself and my phone and everything, because she lifts up the bag and she pulls up, mind you, it's a duffel bag, right? But she lifts up the bag and she pulls up this fucking handle and the shit rolls. I ain't never been so mad in my life. Like, So I just been carrying this shit the whole time and I could have been rolling. I felt so stupid. So we was laughing about that. That kind of enlightened my mood, even though I was like irritated by it. It enlightened my mood or whatever. So, we walked back to her house, whatever. She lives in Ginas projects now. If you know Brooklyn is trifling, but Ginas projects is trifling. Not a kid. I was like, I'm running away from home. I don't care where I go. So whatever. So I go with her. She has roommates and everybody's cool for the most part or whatever. So if you know me, like, I'm really not, like, I'm really nice or whatever, but I'm just not a very affectionate person all the time. And if I do have affection towards you, like, you're lucky. Or I must really love and care about you, because I'm not a really affectionate person. So, of course I slept over with her. I slept over in her bed or whatever, she was just like one of those, when you're a girl, most girls, they don't care. Like, you sleep over, they people cuddle and do that shit. Like, I'm not like that. Like, you really got to be somebody I really want to be with or talk to or really like you to be cuddling and touching and doing all this other stuff. Because I don't do stuff like that. So I'm like, So she's like, oh, okay. So she was really, really good to me. She did take, like, buy me, like, breakfast and stuff. Or, like, if she ate or whatever. We was smoking her weed. Like, we was doing all those stuff. No worries. Thank God at the time, God rest my favorite person in the world, my aunt. God rest her soul. She really looked out for me and she got me a job. And her job as a receptionist And so I did that. So I stayed there, whatever, for a while, whatever. I remember I got my first paycheck. And I was so happy to be able to go back. Like, cause when you don't have and when you staying with somebody, you're like, damn, like you feel away, especially when you're in their house, you have nothing to contribute. Like, you're like, damn, you feel like an outsider. You feel like, damn, I should be doing something. So whatever, I was just, so happy to go back and have something to give. But on the way home, on Fordham, they used to have like the little people that used to do the cards, like the little, gambling that you shouldn't be doing. So, my dumb ass, I'm like, yeah, I'm about to flip my money. Like, I got this. I'm watching it. I'm like, I got this. Like, every time. Like, no worries. So I win the first couple of times. Then this is how they get you, though. So, like, I win the first couple of times. Then I start losing. Now I'm losing my money. And now I'm like, now I got to keep playing more. Because if I can't, like, lose all my money. Like, no, I was just getting money. Like, I'm going to get it back. But everything was said and done. Most of my money was gone. So then I had thrown a whole tantrum. I'm like, nah, this nigga's about to give me my bread back. Like, I'm not getting God like that. So I'm like, nah, I'm not going back for nothing when I just got paid a good paycheck. Like, So now I'm like going off or whatever. I ended up getting arrested for making a public disturbance. And I never forget that I got arrested the 4-6 precinct trifling. My friend actually came and got me. Not the same friend that I was staying with, but whatever. I smoked with her, whatever. I went back home. So I stood there for a while. It started feeling like, like, mixy in the house. So I'm like, nah, listen, I'm not dealing with that. I'm just gonna, go in the hallway, at the time, and smoke or whatever. I had met a girl in the hallway. She was smoking cigarettes. She's like, yeah, talking to me. I'm like, no worries. You don't think nothing. At the time, I'm not thinking of it, anything of it. So I'm like talking to the girl, whatever. So she's like, yeah, I got a baby and this and that. And she's just telling me her story. She seemed like a really cool girl. I'm like, oh, really? That's what's up or whatever. Like, we clicked. Like, we was cool. So she's like, oh, I'm about to go real quick to my house. This is my mom's house if you want to just hang out and have somewhere to chill or whatever. So I'm like, cool. Like, we could go because I didn't really want to be there. Like, in the house, I already felt awkward. Like, my friend was making me feel awkward. Her peoples was making me feel awkward. So I'm like, listen, So I'm like, fine, I'm gonna go. So we go, whatever. She's like, wait for me or whatever. We in the cab. Was like red flag, red flag, red flag. My dumb ass ain't never cared about the red flags, apparently. So she's like, oh, all of a sudden we talking. All of a sudden she's like, oh, you ever like had sex for money and did all this stuff and asking me all these questions? Now I'm like, no, never did that. Like, I'm real like, no. And so whatever. So when we get to the destination, after all of her weird questions and everything, the driver, like, I'm done miss all the not that I missed them, but like I'm ignoring the red flags at this point. I'm like, I'm not trying to go back to that apartment right like tonight or whatever. Everybody's being weird. I'll go back later. Like, I'm gonna enjoy myself, whatever. So I'm like, it's okay, because the driver's like, honey, I'll take you home, like wherever you need to go. Like, I will take you there. So I'm like, nah, it's okay. I'm good. Like, even to this day, I'm like this, but I'm just like, I never worried. I never cared because I know I got myself. I got my back. I'm thinking like I got my blade. I got, like I'm gonna be good. And like, I'm not scared. I could beat this girl up. Like, this is how I'm thinking. So we get upstairs or whatever. And now like, I'm thinking it's just gonna be me and her. But then there's a guy in there. He look older. I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on in here. So she's like, come on, we're gonna go to the store and get liquor and da-da-da. So I'm like, fuck it, we'll go. So we went, got liquor or whatever. Now we back in the thing. So now it's like, when you have that sixth sense, you're like, nah, I don't know. So I'm having a sixth sense. I'm like, I'm not getting drunk. I'm not drinking. So like, this girl just paid for my bottle and everything. And I'm still like, I'm not drinking. Like, no. So whatever. She's like, don't worry about it. Like, drink, blah, blah. When they start smoking the cocaine cigarette, I was done. I was like, nah, I'm not even getting a little bit. First of all, I'm not even smoking another blunt with y'all. Like, ever again. Like, now I'm like, these people are in here wildin', right? So then I'm like, I'm just watching him. Like, you're not gonna drink, you're not gonna da-da-da-da. I'm like, nah, I'm sipping, like, it's okay. Like, cause now I'm like, I need to be on edge. Like, I need to be on point. I can't be drinking and trying to be, when you drink, you get a little loopy and everything else. I need to be on point. And I ain't smoking nothing because I don't know if it's laced now because y'all sitting here smoking cocaine cigarettes. I ain't never seen this before in my life. I'm like, what? This is crazy to me. So, whatever. So, at that time, I had a Tommy bubble, like winter coat. It was cold outside. I had this blue Tommy bubble winter coat, royal blue. It was fire. It's my shit. So I was like, so then all of a sudden, like, I guess because you know they're smoking the thing, they're getting crazy. So he's like, oh, he's like, yeah, you came in here to, like, you know, you came in here to like do something, this not getting crazy with me. I'm like, I pulled out the blade, like, listen, sir, I'm not arguing with no grown man in here. Like, I do what I want to do. If I'm not drinking, I'm not trying to do none of that. It's not because I'm being mixy vibe. It's because I feel like I need to pay attention in here. Like, y'all being weird. So I'm like, fuck that. Like, nah. Like, I'm leaving now. Now I'm leaving. And that was really it. Like, I'm telling the girl, like, nah, this, like, he's wilding. She's like, no, just stay. Like, don't worry about it. Da, da, da. I'm like, no. She's like, don't worry. He's my pimp. Now we find out this is the pimp. Like, you were trying to now I'm screaming. Like, you was trying to sex traffic me, Gina? Like, no. Like, obviously because of the questions that she was asking me. And she's like, don't worry, he's going to take care of us. You just need to listen and do all this other shit. And I'm like, listen, I still have my blade out. I'm like, girl, move. He's taking care of you. Like, he's not taking care of me. I'm not being taken care of. Okay? Like, we're not doing this. Now, mind you, I'm in Queens somewhere. I don't even know where I'm at. So I'm like, I'm leaving. I never cared. So she's like, don't worry, I'm going to leave with you. Like, don't worry, I don't want you to leave by yourself, blah, blah. So she leaves. She comes to me. So I'm like, telling her, like, yeah, you're wilding. Like, you brought me here, like, trying to, like, basically sex traffic me. Like, basically making me become a prostitute. This is your pimp. You told me this was your man. Now this is your pimp, you're telling me. Like, I'm like, no. Like, this is getting a little crazy and out of hand, and I'm not with the shit. So she's like, no, I'm sorry. I thought, blah, blah, like, you thought wrong, mama. You thought wrong. But it's okay, because I'm leaving. So then she's like, oh, here's $20, and, you know, do what you need to do to get back. Like, because it's going to be more basically saying, like, if you need to suck a fuck to get back, that's what you going to do, because I only got $20. I'm looking at this girl like, I will take the train at this point. So I get in the cab. I'm like, take me to the 7. Took me to the 7. So I didn't transfer. I got all the way back to the D. I think it was either the D or the B. And I rode that shit until about 5 o'clock in the morning, because I went back to Ginas, and this bitch would not answer me, would not answer the door. She did me dirty. I had such a horrible night that night. I was so upset that she would do that to me. She didn't answer the door. She wouldn't answer her phone. She wouldn't do none of that. So now it's like probably 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have nowhere to go. So I had to ride the train for hours until 5:30. I could have called my dad earlier, but I didn't want to wake him up. I was trying to catch him when he already had got up for work. So I didn't really get cursed the fuck out. I still got cursed the fuck out, though. Still got cursed out. But it is what it is. Call my daddy like, Daddy, can you come and get me? Da-da-da. You know my daddy was coming for his baby. He never cared. He's like, I'm coming. Came pick me up. And actually, I didn't stay home. Like, he picked me up and I had somewhere to stay for that day. I could have stayed home, but I'm like, nah, like, I'm still on my striking days. Like, I'm still out. I'm still not living here. I just needed you for that night, like, type of thing. That was a story time. Almost got sex trafficked. Then I had to ride a train and do all this crazy stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for being loyal and tuning back in. It's been real, y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell to get notifications. Comment below if you want me to review anything for you. If you need anything or have any questions, I will always comment and reply back to you guys. Let me know if you want a specific video you want me to make, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, Ginas.